Good evening, everyone, and welcome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie, brother-in-law to Carly, and by the time the ceremony is over, brother-in-law to Blake as well. Blake and Carly, I cannot tell you how honored I am for the opportunity to be up here with you tonight. Thank you for inviting me to share this special moment with you. Having never officiated a wedding before, my first inclination was to try to stick to those tropes that have been used since time immemorial. But I quickly found that this wouldn't work. I noticed this even when I thought about the very first words I would say. I almost felt obligated to start the ceremony in the way that wedding ceremonies almost always start, with a remark along the lines of why we're gathered here today. But I think we all know why we're here, and what a moment this is. Carly and Blake, each of you have separately told me that before you had met one another, you were starting to believe that there was no one out there that'd be perfect for you. That you had not found and could not believe that you would find that perfect person. That person that would make the ceremony seem almost inevitable. Like a last step required to usher in the future that you both had already envisioned for so long. But we all know that there's nothing obvious or inevitable about standing under a chuppah with your soulmate. And for the rest of us joining Carly and Blake in celebration of their marriage, the opportunity to be here on a night like this, to witness the union of two people who are so close to us, is an absolute privilege. The Jewish people have marked such momentous occasions for more than 2,000 years through the recital of the Shechianu as a way to express gratitude for being a part of an occasion such as this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shechianu v'kimanu v'gianu lezman hazeh. Simply and aptly put, that we are thankful for that which has granted us life and sustained us and enabled us to reach this most joyous occasion. Carly and Blake, after knowing each of you for years, and after speaking with you about this night for the last several months, I've learned a lot about your relationship. And one thing I've known for a long time, and that you each told me separately, is that through the love that's blossomed between you over the last 5 years, and the experiences that you've already shared together, you feel like you're already married. You're already committed wholeheartedly to one another. That you're already the best of friends and closest of partners. That you already understand each other like no one has understood you before. So I asked myself, what meaning does this ceremony hold for the both of you against the backdrop of what's already there, in light of the special bond that already exists between you? And one I learned is that for you, this wedding ceremony is the way in which you bring an additional layer of rootedness, tradition, and sanctity to the love that you already share. That hearing the 7 wedding blessings that your parents, grandparents, and siblings heard when they were married carries with it a significance that is especially meaningful for you as a couple, as you tie this moment to your shared traditions and to your history. It's for this reason, Carly, that the Kiddush cup that you decided to use for this ceremony is the same one that your sister Erica and I used when you were standing under our chuppah when we were married. And it's why you, Blake, chose to have Carly's wedding band made for the ring that your father, Ron, gave to your mother, Penny, when they were engaged. It's through this wedding ceremony, through the Kiddush cups, the rings, and the rituals, that you will take up what your families have shared with you and forge them anew. The wedding ceremony, in an important way, is the vehicle through which you will link your union to the special people in your lives and the generations that have come before you. And in so doing, you will project your love for one another back through the past and forward into the future. It's a way to declare out loud and into eternity what has been in your hearts and what you said to each other privately for years. This sentiment is also represented by the openness of the beautiful chuppah under which we stand tonight, and which represents the home that you will build together. That it is open on all sides is a signifier of the past that is behind you and that has shaped who you are, the bright future that lies ahead of you, and the love and support of your families, community, and friends that guide you. The trees that hold up the chuppah are your foundations, your roots, and represent the pillars of your new home together. A home that will be open to all of the energies and people that have brought you here today and that have sustained you until this point. But there is something distinctive about the openness of the chuppah in respect to the two of you in particular, as all of those who know you will agree. The openness of the chuppah also speaks to the importance that your community has had for each of you up until tonight. You are both people for whom community and outreach is an essential part of who you are. You each have already opened yourselves up to your friends, families, and communities in a way that is, in a word, inspiring. Carly, to all the children you've taught over the years, and to their parents who have entrusted to your gentle care that which is most important in their lives. And Blake, to budding lacrosse players who you have coached, to the family business, the legacy of which you've undertaken as your own, and to the charitable causes to which you've dedicated your life. You have opened yourselves to friends and family and coworkers and nephews and black cats and Westies and beta fish and next door neighbors. This openness and dedication to those around you is embodied in the openness of the chuppah. And I know that these traits will continue to be an essential part of your identities and the home that you will build together. So Blake, Carly, I invite you to take a moment to turn around and look across this room and take in for a few seconds the strength of the community you have built around you and that surrounds you tonight, and the joy that's emanating from every single person who has come here to celebrate in your union. May your new home together, like this moment under the chuppah, be surrounded by family, friends, and a community as supportive as this for many, many years to come. But this wedding ceremony is meant to channel far more than the people and energies in this room tonight. It also allows you to connect with that long aisle of history that you've walked to get here, and that will continue to guide you after you walk back down that long and happy aisle that will be your future together. The long aisle of history that extends behind you includes your grandparents, parents, siblings, who have walked down their own aisles, or will, and who have walked with you down your aisle moments ago. It includes your values, your passions, your desires, and your beliefs as they have helped shape who you are and who you have chosen in a spouse. And for both of you, that aisle of history includes Blake's mother, Penny, who in her presence and in her enduring memory has molded you, Blake, into the driven and compassionate leader and philanthropist that defines you and that sets you apart from everyone I know. And that aisle of history includes the memories you've already made together and the foundation of love and trust that has guided you here. In short, this wedding ceremony is a moment in which the present meets the eternal. And while under the chuppah, you are both cloaked by all of the energies and forces, people, blessings, and fortunes that have brought you together in marriage and that will guide your future together. Carly and Blake, this presence surrounds you tonight and has culminated in this moment into an affirmation of your future together, to greet your union with a great cosmic yes. But the focus of the rest of the ceremony, during which you exchange your vows and rings, is centered on the personal bond between you and the relationship you share. So just as I invited you earlier to look around the room, to focus on those people who are here with you tonight, I now invite you, for the next few minutes, to forget that there's anyone else here, and to focus only on each other. The dual rituals of the reading of the ketubah, that wedding contract that you signed earlier tonight, and the exchanging of the rings are traditionally separated into two distinct parts, each accompanied by a separate glass of wine. The first glass of wine represents your engagement to one another, both literal and figurative. It reaches back to the day that you agreed to be married, knowing it would culminate on a night like tonight. Like the wedding night itself, there's a deep sense of history that surrounds the day that you agreed to be married. November 18th, the day that you were engaged, is also the day that Blake's parents were engaged, a fact that you both learned about only later. But of course, your engagement is ultimately a very personal and intimate moment, as it represents the first marriage vow you made to one another. Blake, you recently described Carly's acceptance of your proposal as the one moment in your life in which you felt pure joy, as you put it. Only joy, without any other emotion. This first glass of wine is a celebration of that moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagefen. Between that first marriage vow and the vows you will make to each other tonight, you have made many others. including the ones written into the ketubah that you signed earlier this evening. Everything about the ketubah you chose carries with it a special significance for the both of you. The trees that adorn it are like the trees that hold up the chuppah. The roots and foundations that will carry you together. And the words you so carefully chose are emblematic of your relationship and the values that you hold. The ketubah is traditionally read during the marriage ceremony, so I'll read an excerpt that I feel is particularly poignant. As we embark on life's journey, we promise to love, cherish, encourage, and inspire one another. We shall nurture one another emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually, always mindful of our respective qualities and strengths. May we continue to grow together, maintaining the courage and determination to pursue our desired paths. May we maintain the intimacy that fosters trust, honesty, and communication. As life partners, we shall strive to build a home committed to our Jewish heritage, a home emanating love, peace, tolerance, and charity. Through each other's eyes, we see the world anew. In a minute, we will move on to the second glass of wine, which represents the marriage itself. This is the part during which Carly and Blake will make their formal vows to each other and exchange their rings, and through which they will seal the vow they made to each other when they agreed to be married. Before we get there, though, we recite the 7 wedding blessings, which, like the other parts of the ceremony, reiterate the relationship of marriage to the eternal and acknowledge the unity of all things, down to, most importantly, the unity of the bride and groom. I will recite each of them in the Hebrew and translate with some poetic license to English. At the end of each translation, everyone should feel free to say, or better yet, to shout, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'akol bara lichvodo. May the couple's home be the center of emotional and spiritual fulfillment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer ha'adam. For the spark of humanity and the cosmic potential in each of us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam b'tzalmo, בטרם דמות תרביתו, והתקין לו ממנו בניין עדי עד. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר האדם. To the beauty of our own unique likeness and the potential therein when two become one, may this marriage be a transformative union. סיס תסיס ותגל הכרה, בקיבוץ בניה לתוכה בשמחה. ברוך אתה אדוני משמח ציון בבניה. May the couple's home be one in which joy and light will always override darkness. שמח תשמח רעים האהובים כשמך ביצירך בגן עדן מקדם. ברוך אתה אדוני משמח חתן וכלה. A blessing for joy. As every marriage is a link between past and future generations, this marriage is a joyous and momentous occasion for all. May the couple carry the joy of this day forward and find refuge in each other as the creators of their new home. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר ברא ששון ושמחה, חתן וכלה, גילה, רינה, דיצה וחדווה, אהבה ואחווה ושלום ורעות. ברוך אתה אדוני משמח חתן עם הכלה. May the couple's home be imbued with wonder and delight, gladness and rejoicing, love and harmony, peace and friendship, and happiness and contentment. A blessing for the happiness of the bride and groom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagefen. Finally, a blessing over the second glass of wine to symbolize the beginning of the process through which this marriage will be sealed. Carly and Blake, you shared the first glass of wine, commemorating your engagement to one another, and have now shared the second glass of wine, through which your marriage will begin to be finalized. We've now reached the part in the ceremony where you exchange rings and make your vows to one another. I believe the rings are with Jordan. Hope they are. These rings, in their unbroken wholeness, are tokens of the continuity of your love. May they forever be a symbol of the enduring trust and affection that you share with one another. I understand that you have a few words you would like to say to each other as you exchange rings. Blake, I give the floor to you. As you share your vow with Carly, place the ring on Carly's index finger. Carly, when the ring is on your finger, raise it up high for all to see.
I give you this ring as a symbol of my love and devotion. Let it always be a reminder that I'm by your side.
Carly, now turning to you. As you share your vow with Blake, place the ring on his index finger, after which Blake will raise his hand for all to see.
I give you this ring as a symbol of my love and devotion. Let it be a reminder that I'm always by your side.
We now get to everyone's favorite part. And if I know Blake, the part that makes him the most nervous, the traditional breaking of the glass. Not yet. No. This is accomplished in most cases on the first try, but there, of course, have been instances where the groom has not succeeded in breaking the glass the first time, and all turned out well anyway. So no pressure, Blake. Unlike the other parts of the wedding ceremony, the meaning behind this ritual is less clear. And there are many different explanations for why it's done. Those of us here who have been to Jewish weddings before have probably heard a multitude of varied explanations for the significance of this ritual. That it represents the destruction of the temple some 2,000 years ago, that it reminds us that marriage is fragile, or that even in times of happiness, the broken glass reminds us that there's still pain and imperfection in the world. But none of these explanations have been particularly satisfying to me, and because I get to be the officiant for tonight, my opinion actually matters. So Blake and Carly, let me offer an alternative explanation. And yes, I know that even though I've been faking it the entire time I've been up here, I'm not a rabbi. And yes, I know that I got ordained to officiate a wedding in the state of Illinois from a website I found through a Google search. But from my personal experience, I think this explanation may be a little bit more relevant to the two of you. So here it goes. Everyone in this room for the past half hour or so has been engaged in the beautiful and mystical pageantry that is the traditional wedding ceremony. There was live music playing when you walked in. There's a gorgeous array of greenery adorning the aisle, camera shutters flickering, and a beautiful chuppah made of trees at the center. The groom has taken off his Cubs hat and his OEM hardware shirt and is cleaned up. His beard is trimmed for a change. He smells okay even from up close. And his boutonniere and his bow tie have been fastened with the utmost care. Blake's been in there the entire time, of course. But under the chuppah, he is Blake as groom. And of course, there's a beautiful bride. Anyone who has seen Carly on a regular day will know that she's just as beautiful at 7 a.m. in the car on the way to teach her first graders as she is tonight. But she's particularly stunning in a wedding dress. Her makeup has been applied with the utmost precision. Her dress has been fitted perfectly. Not a hair is out of place. She's truly perfect at this moment. This is Carly, of course, but it's Carly as bride. All of this contributes to the unique moment that is the wedding ceremony. But as all of us who are married know, and all of us who are not married can probably guess, marriage itself is very different from the wedding ceremony that brings it about. Your day-to-day lives together will look very different than the drama that comes with the wedding night. All this is to say that among all this pomp, all these props and people, the wedding ceremony itself is a veil that may make you forget for a minute that when you walk back down the aisle, you will be Mr. and Mrs. Brandwein. That you will actually be married to each other, actually husband and wife. That instead of Blake as groom, there will be Blake as husband. Instead of Carly as bride, there will be Carly as wife. So we can think about the breaking of the glass as a separation between the ceremony itself and your lives as newlyweds, as a division of the ritual that you just completed and a ringing in of the rest of your real lives together. So take the sound of the broken glass as a way to bring you both back to the beautiful reality that is your marriage to one another, as a way to end the hush of mythic time under the huppah and to allow the world around you to rush back in. Once that glass is broken, I want you to let out the breaths you've been holding while standing up here, kiss each other, and realize that the pageantry of the ceremony is behind you and that your new lives together have begun. The breaking of the glass will be what wakes everyone in this room from the silence they've been sitting in, waking them to rejoice loudly for the both of you. And for you, Blake and Carly, the breaking of the glass will be what lifts the veil from this wedding ceremony, to wake you to one another as husband and wife. Once that glass is broken, as is written in your ketubah, through each other's eyes, you will see the world anew. To the longest and happiest of marriages. Mazel tov.